Last video for the night. Here we go. Yay. So, under normal circumstances, as you all are aware, I would not usually read a book that is over 500 pages. However, this came out and I did not know that this was going to come out. The author didn't know that this was going to come out. But apparently, Aristotle and Dante were not done with him. Aristotle and Dante dive into the waters of the world. My gay children have another comeback. Oh my gosh. This will probably be the only time that I do this because there's another one, but I was expecting that one. I didn't know that Aristotle and Dante was coming out. This may be the last time that I do this. Also, while I'm at it, look at this pretty copy of the first book that I got. I gave my other copy of it to my friend, but this is really pretty. Anyway, so Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World by Benjamin Alide Sayat Science. I don't know how to say his name, and I apologize for that. Aristotle is learning to love himself. He's quieter than Dante to everyone, and he's just learning to love himself and let himself be loved. And it's really hard. Let me move this up because now I'm sitting on my legs. I have experience with that. When you're not used to letting yourself be loved, it is difficult to allow other people in. And Aristotle is trying to learn that. Also, another book that made me gasp out loud. Both of them, because it's the 1980s, both of them are struggling with their gayness, and also we are at the height of the AIDS epidemic, so they're seeing people like die on TV, and it's not great for them because it feels like how they felt. Like, why aren't people helping them? Like, they're just people too. It feels like how it still feels now, but at least there's medication for AIDS now. There was medication for AIDS back then as well, it just wasn't as widespread, but we're not going to get into that because that's a whole other conversation. um yeah, Dante's mom is pregnant, which is nice. Huge age gaps in siblings can either be very great or they can be terrible. There is no in between, apparently. Um, yeah. Uh, they swear a lot, Aristotle and Dante. Like a lot, like to the point where it's kind of cringy. Aristotle's parents are more open to all of this. Not that they weren't closed off to it, but um, Ari's brother killed a transgender person who I think was like a call person, like a streetwalker, but he didn't feel bad about it. Ari actually goes to visit him in jail, and for some reason tells him that he's gay. Ari be out here coming out the closet to everybody. Like, you can't just do that, especially in the 1980s. It's not safe, my guy. Like, imagine if his brother wasn't in jail right now. Aristotle would be dead. Like, you can't do that. Whatever. Ari's making friends, and he's realizing that he's got to be more open with his life in his pursuit of becoming a human, which is what they call it, because before he was like really quiet and didn't stand up for himself and all that stuff. Now he's standing up to bullies and all that, and it's pretty mind blowing to his friends. Um, he Ari has been having bad dreams of his brother. Like, before he goes to visit him, he has bad dreams of his brother, and somehow his brother throwing homophobic slurs at him gives him closure. I don't know. Closure is a weird thing. They named Dante's little brother Sophocles. I said in the last video that it's weird to me to name your kids Aristotle, and well, not Dante's not that weird, but Aristotle, come on, man. And Sophocles, are you also, that's not a Hispanic name. Not to say that like they don't have to do that, but in terms of like if you're going to go with names that are like ill-used and kind of weird, Sophocles, my guy. Anyway, Aristotle's dad has a heart attack and he dies, and we spend a couple of chapters on that. It's very emotional. I did almost cry, but I held it together. Um, Dante and they graduated from high school, and Dante ends up going to an art program in Paris because it's really hard for the two of them to see a future for each other. But in Dante's absence, Aristotle is like, no. So he ends up flying to Paris to go be with Dante, and it's really cute. Um, it is really nice that this book is from Aristotle's point of view because he has a very strong internal monologue. Dante seems like he voices every single one of his opinions as soon as he has them. So I don't think a book from his point of view would be great. Um, and again, Aristotle, read the room before you come out. You cannot just be coming out to everybody and their grandmama. That is not safe. Like at the end of the last book, after Dante got into the car accident and he just outed Dante to his parents, you were so lucky that Dante's parents agreed with that. Because, like, they very well could not have. In the 1980s, they very well could not have agreed with that. And Dante could have been homeless. Like, it's a sad reality of the world that we live in, but you cannot just be coming out to everybody and their grandmama because you could die. Like, it's just the reality of the world we live in. It is not safe. Um, Another book that finally came out that I was also super excited for was this book, The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks. This is about the Montague siblings. This is their third brother, Felicity and Monty. This is their youngest brother. He did not know that Monty and Felicity existed. He ends up going to find them because of a mystery that their mother left behind because their mother died. And I don't know if it's just that his name is Adrian. I don't know if it's just that Adrian isn't as interesting a character as his brother and sister are, but he's not as interesting a character as his brother and sister are, so I kind of got bored with it. By the end of the book, Felicity ends up back in Europe working at a college. Adrian and his bride-to-be get married, and he joins Parliament even though he was nervous about doing it earlier. And yeah, I didn't want to go on this journey, honestly. Maybe I think I should give the book another read, to be honest with you. Monty and Felicity are just better. I don't know. There also feels like there's character development that we're missing because Adrian is 20 and that, like, it's been 20 years for Felicity and Monty, and it feels like there's character development that we're missing. I picked up this book because it was LGBTQ fiction, because Felicity is probably ace and Monty is gay. And I don't know. I just didn't like it as much. I like Monty the most, I like Felicity less, and I like Adrian 20 years less.